Hello and welcome to the Scrum Study course on a guide to the Scrum body of knowledge. A definitive guide for Scrum and the rules for the game. Scrum is a framework for developing and sustaining complex projects. What is the Scrum body of knowledge? It is a compilation of the latest methods and best practices employed by its practitioners and experts. Furthermore, it provides guidelines for the successful implementation of Scrum. It is the most popular Agile project management and project development framework. It provides a comprehensive framework that includes the principles, aspects, and processes of the Scrum framework. Now that we know about Scrum and the SBOK guide, let's see the applicability of Scrum as defined in the SBOK. Scrum framework is widely used across portfolios, programs, and/or projects in any industry, products, services, or any other deliverables to be developed in projects of any size or complexity. According to the Scrum body of knowledge, the term product may refer to a product, service, or other deliverable. The practicality of Scrum as a framework is that it can be applied effectively to any project in any industry, whether they are small projects with 6-person teams or large complex projects with up to several hundred team members. Now that we have pretty much summed up the Scrum body of knowledge in general, let us quickly run through an overview of a guide to the SBOK chapters. The first chapter describes the purpose and framework of the SBOK and provides an introduction of the key concepts of Scrum. It also contains the summary of Scrum Principles, Scrum Aspects, and Scrum Processes. The second chapter expands on the 6 Scrum Principles, the foundation on which the Scrum framework is based. Chapters 3 to 7 elaborate on the 5 Scrum aspects that must be addressed throughout any project. The chapters discussed are organization, business justification, quality, change, and risk. Chapters 8 to 12 cover the 19 Scrum processes involved in carrying out a Scrum project. These processes are, in turn, part of 5 Scrum phases, which are initiate, plan and estimate, implement, review and retrospect, and release. The phases detail the associated inputs and outputs of each process, as well as the various tools that may be used in each. Some inputs, tools, and outputs are mandatory and are indicated as such with asterisks. Others are optional, depending on the specific project, organizational requirements, and/or guidelines set forth by the organization's Scrum Guidance Body or SGB. Chapters 13 and 14 cover the 8 processes required to scale Scrum to large projects and the enterprise. For large-scale Scrum projects that require coordination across multiple teams, there are 3 additional Scrum processes, which are defined in Chapter 13, Scaling Scrum for Large Projects. There are also specific processes defined when implementing Scrum at the enterprise level, which are covered in Chapter 14, Scaling Scrum for the Enterprise. Finally, Appendix A contains an overview of the Agile Manifesto by Fowler and Highsmith and a discussion of various Agile methods for those who want more information about Agile. The sections covered in this chapter are 1.1 Overview of Scrum, 1.2 Why Use Scrum, 1.3 Purpose of a Guide to the SBOK, 1.4 Framework of a Guide to the SBOK, and 1.5 Scrum versus Traditional Project Management. And that wraps up the introduction to the Scrum body of knowledge.